Hey everyone, welcome back to Noiseberry Games. So I just finished playing through the game A Juggler's Tale. I had the first impressions video yesterday. After doing that video, I went and finished up the game, and then even went through and 100%ed it to get all the achievements. So playtime, it took me, according to Steam, 2.1 hours to finish the game, my first playthrough. It probably was like about 2 hours, like 0.1 was probably like looking up guides for bits that I got stuck on. I tried to play the game as blind as I could, but there were definitely a couple of puzzles where I had to look up a video walkthrough. There definitely were like a couple of puzzles that just didn't jump out to me, and like even with finding the solution, I don't think I would have figured it out by myself, so the video walkthrough was very, very helpful. And then as for 100% in the game, there's 18 achievements in the game, and after I'd finished my first playthrough, I had unlocked 10 of them. You get, I think, 6 or 7 are like, they just get unlocked throughout the story, and then the rest are quite missable. So I just went back through and played through again afterwards to get the achievements. But something really cool about the game is once you've finished it once, it lets you jump to any chapter and any checkpoint in those chapters. So once you've finished it and you want to go back through to get the achievements, you just hop to the checkpoint that's closest to the achievement, play through that little bit for, like 2 minutes, however long it takes to do it. And then as soon as you got the achievement, you can just jump to the next checkpoint that you need. So that was really helpful. So like I said, it was, Steam said 2.1 hours to finish the first playthrough. Now that I've 100%ed it, it is 2.9 hours. So about on average, take you about 2 hours for your first playthrough, and then like another hour to 100% it if that's what you're interested in. I quite liked the game, so I thought I would do the achievements. And overall, I thought it was awesome. It's the length is pretty perfect for these kinds of games. I could have probably played a little bit longer, but not too much. I think like the first Little Nightmares was probably about 2 hours or so. And there's 5 acts, and the acts do very wildly in length. Like Act 1 is something like 15 minutes of the 2 hours, and then like Act 2 and I think 4 are both really, really long. In fact, one of the achievements is to play through the entirety of Act 2 without falling into water. And it's a very long chapter. Like the water's mostly in the beginning, and then there is a bit of water right at the end of it, but it took me a few tries to get that achievement. But yeah, the gameplay was fun. It really does control very similarly to something like Little Nightmares. Like I said, most of the puzzles were fairly intuitive. A lot of them I managed to figure out myself. But I think about 3 or 4 throughout the game I had to look up, and like I really didn't think I would figure those out myself. So I think it's probably like just about possible to play entirely blind, but if you wanted to save a bit of time, you could definitely look up a couple of the solutions that were particularly tricky to me. The music's really good, although the main theme does get a bit repetitive. Like whenever you pause the game, it loops the main theme, which it gets a little bit repetitive after a while. But I thought like in the game, the score and like the ambient sounds and atmospheric sounds and stuff were very, very good. The story was really fun. Like I predicted in the first impressions video, it does get a little bit darker than you like expect from looking at like the very start of the game. Like even in the first impressions, where Abby starts by playing around in the village and stuff. She's juggling, and then it jumps quickly to her being locked away in a cage to spend the night. It's definitely a little bit darker, but it's very fairy tale-y, and fairy tales are very dark. So the story really made sense. It takes a little bit of a turn in like partway through Act 3 and towards the end of the game, so I won't have any footage from basically past the second half of the game, because I think it's definitely worth experiencing that part of the game for yourself. I will say though, the English voice acting definitely got to me after a while, because for the most part, well, not even for the most part, for the majority of the time, the 2 lines of rhyming dialogue do rhyme. For the majority of the time. There is definitely a lot of instances, the minority, where it just doesn't rhyme at all. And I believe it rhymes in the German voiceover. So there's 2 voiceovers, there's English and German. And so when I was doing the achievements, I switched to the German language, German voiceover with English subtitles to see if it sounded better. And the English subtitles still matched up to what I remembered from having the English voice lines on, but from what I could tell, the German voice lines did rhyme every time. So I don't know why they didn't, you know, try and like tweak or rewrite some of the English lines to make them rhyme, but like some of them are so awkward. Like the guy will do like 4 couplets of rhyming lines, and then the next one will just like fall so flat because it just doesn't rhyme at all. I almost wish, like for the English one, they'd kind of retooled the script entirely and done away with the rhyming couplets completely, because I don't know, I felt they were quite distracting by partway through the game, and just the fact that so many of them didn't rhyme just like really threw me off and made me just kind of like do a double take at what I was listening to. So I think the rhyming couplets worked fine for the German. Like I said, I couldn't completely tell if they all rhymed, but I think they did. But yeah, I really would have liked the English voice line to be reworked and maybe just get rid of the rhyming and just have it like the guy is reading like a script, like he's presenting the show, because he is, you know, the presenter. He's controlling the puppets. So now that I've finished the game, I've 100%ed it. Steam now says 3 hours instead of 2.9 hours, so it is about 3 hours. I think the price is pretty accurate. You know, it's 20 Canadian, so I'm thinking, you know, I'm comparing that to other games at a similar price point, and it's not like quite as high quality as Little Nightmares, but it's pretty close. It's, you know, just the English voice line does let it down a bit, but if you put it on German, it's pretty solid. I only had one glitch the entire time I played, and that was just when I was trying to mop up the achievements afterwards, and I wasn't able to replicate it. It was quite interesting. I like jumped up onto a ladder and tried to snap a bit down to get a stick to throw to a dog, and as I was like snapping the stick, Abby just flew up into the sky, and she was able to run along the top of the level up to a certain point, and I was really excited. I thought I'd found like a really cool glitch that would make a speedrun work, but I wasn't able to replicate it, and I got stuck on part of the level further on, and I couldn't like get down from being up in the sky. So I speaking of speedrunning, I'd be quite tempted to play around with it. I know it doesn't have a speedrun page, so I think I could probably finish the game in like about an hour, maybe a bit under. So I you know, tempted to do a little speedrun at some point. Anyway, I think I was talking about the price. Yeah, I think the price is pretty fair. Like maybe if you get it for like 10% off or something like that. But yeah, it's very similar to Little Nightmares in that regard, that it is you're paying for the quality of the game and everything instead of the length of the game. Anyway, there you go. Those were my final thoughts on A Juggler's Tale. Overall, really liked the game. That's just going to be like the theme of this series of My Watch Has Ended. If I don't like the game, I'm not gonna finish it and do one of these reviews. Maybe I will. Maybe I will like explain why I didn't finish the game. But yeah, I really liked A Juggler's Tale. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!